The irony of it
I was on the road.
is you brought up
Yeah,
some
I
very
do.
good points and some very good splashes. But the upshot is not
Mr. Finnegan? I'm not here to fight.
State your business.
I need a goddamn wrench so that I can fix my auto and get the hell back on the road. You can't wait to see me go.
Maybe I could turn on some snappy music to inspire you, huh? Or maybe I could
No, you couldn't.
Builds up your biceps. It doesn't snap off your arm.
Oh, you're having a high old time, aren't you? You'd like to see this go on forever, wouldn't you?
I'd like to see you down the road, and the sooner the better, so I can concentrate.
Well, I'm doing my goddamn best to oblige.
Hey! I did it! So I hear.
I got it to start.
That's good.
And I can leave if I want to. Only I don't have to go yet. It'll idle for a long while. I can leave anytime I want.
You have my permission.
I don't need your permission. I can get the hell on the road and cuss you all the way to California.
Oh, so California is...
Never mind where. I don't need your advice. We're finished.
I don't care where you go. Still standing there.
Your wrench. And I want to leave this.
Yeah, well, I don't accept it. Not after the way we yelled at each other.
If I want to give you a present, take it.
Oh, that's crazy, you giving me a present.
Look, I want you to remember that I was here. And at the rate you drink whiskey, it's going to last a long, long time. And every time you look at it, you'll think of me.
Well, I accept your present with deep thanks. Damn it, Tom!
Damn it, Huck. I've been thinking.
Well, you've had 20 minutes to do it.
Well, what about you?
What about me?
You've had 20 minutes, too. You've been thinking?
I've been with you. Of course I've been thinking. I've been thinking ever since you left Hannibal.
No, I mean now.
Of course now.
Say it.
Look, sometimes in any friendship, there's hard feelings and rough words.
I didn't criticize you.
You think you didn't?
Not the way you laid into me.
Well, that's because you have such a sweet disposition.
Don't you get sarcastic with me just because you're an educated man.
Oh, I see. I'll never hear the end of that. Turn off your motor. Your automobile motor, that is.
I'm not sure I want to.
Sure you do. You want to switch it off and come have supper. I'm not such a bad cook, you know.
I ain't got no appetite.
Well, neither have I, really.
Well, that's a coincidence, ain't it? I better go turn it off. You're looking at a man who has worked up one powerful thirst.
All that cranking.
Oh, the cranking was nothing. It was the thinking that was rough.
Texas or California or Florida.
That was the farthest thing from my mind. Just give me a few minutes to think of the right words.
Well, why don't I fetch a lamp?
I'm just happy in the dark.
Yeah, moonlight's enough.
You used to say, keep your head down in the shadow. Too much moon on your face and make you stay young forever.
Jim told me that. He had it on good authority from an old plantation slave who knew a boy that used to sleep in the moon fields and stayed 16 all his life.
Yeah, well, you and me escaped that.
Yeah, so did Jim. Years ago, we visited Cincinnati. Walking back to the hotel, Saw a familiar face I thought I'd never see again.
You saw Jim?
Pretty much unchanged. Same thoughtful smile, sad eyes. He was with his wife and 3 grown children, coming from church. Oh, beautiful family.
He recognized you?
When I spoke, I introduced him to my wife, and he invited us back to his house for Sunday chicken dinner. He inquired about you.
He did? What did you say?
That you were all right, doing well, and had asked about him on a Christmas card.
Thanks. You always were a creative liar. God, I must have played Cincinnati dozens of times at least, if I'd only known he was there.
Jim and I corresponded back and forth till he died.
He could write?
Yeah, his oldest boy taught him. Jim said that he didn't become a free man to stay ignorant all the time. Oh, we talked about old times, and reminded each other, wasn't it a fine world back then? Of course, we knew the answer was yes, and no.
I wish I could have been with the two of you.
Now, say when.
All the way to the top, just don't let it overflow. Could you do me a favor, Huck? Would you choke down a little bit? I don't like to drink alone.
You're not alone.
Hard to believe, you owning Carter Hill. You ever see ghosts in the moonlight?
Sure. Ghosts of trees we climb
You ever see you and me?
every time. Oh, and old Harold and Darcy and Roger.
And old simpy, whey-faced Bill Hoskins.
Oh, no, I never see him. Fat fellas don't make very good ghosts. I see cats and dogs that used to loiter around here in the old days. Ferocious dogs that you've never seen before or since.
Well, they don't make ferocious dogs like they used to. They say the future is straight ahead. I'm going to give you one last chance. Why don't you come with me?
No, I can't.
We'd make a killing. They say it's booming in Florida.
No, Tom.
Yeah. I guess if I lived here, I wouldn't want to travel either. This is a nice piece of land to leave your sons.
Well, that's not how it is. Cloud and I never begat.
Cloud?
Well, that was her name, my wife.
Cloud. It's out of the ordinary.
So was she.
Henry and Cloud Finnegan of Green Bend, Missouri.
I first saw her. She was a young nurse for someone that I went to visit. She was dressed all in white. Heavy-set girl. Moved in and out of the room lightly. Almost floated.
Like her name, Cloud.
Before I got up the nerve to ask her, I began to whittle an oval frame that I hoped one day would hold our wedding portrait. It hangs above the bureau in my bedroom.
I'd like to see it sometime, see the way you looked back then.
No, I never looked like much, you know that. For a while I thought of cutting myself off the picture, but then it wouldn't have been a wedding portrait.
Sometimes I wish I'd married Tilly. It never really occurred to me that we weren't. But I think she felt the same way. Once, to make her feel good, I bought one of those marriage certificates in a novelty shop and I filled it in and I told her we was hitched. We had a big champagne celebration after a show one night in New Orleans, and all the other acts came in and threw rice and toasted us. She cried until she had us all doing it. even pressed her corsage into our scrapbook. And then for years after that, at odd moments, whether she's sitting in front of her makeup table painting her face, or we're in a restaurant waiting for our food, she would heave a big sigh and say, "You know, Tom, that was the nicest night of our life." And I would say, "So far." Yeah, yeah, I should have married her. You get used to a person.
You get entwined.
You get dependent with what you get.
Now, let's talk about something else.
Tell me more about Cloud.
Well, she was 20 years younger than me and fretted about it. Kept asking me to quit smoking and take care of myself.
Well, maybe that's why I didn't recognize it.
Huh?
No corn cob pipe.
You ever notice that a woman looks even prettier in the summer than other times?
No, sir. If she's pretty to me 12 months out of the year.
Summer evenings, I'd sit out in the backyard glider and I'd watch her. A heavy red-headed woman, all in white, looking sure enough like a cloud. Humming to herself and puttering around the petunias. Over in the nasturtiums, yellow and orange.
Yeah, I like nasturtiums.
Sharp fragrance, like nothing else. And when it came time to leave Green Bend, I sold the house and the business, and I left overnight.
What do you get for selling a law practice like that, or whatever it was?
What are you talking about?
Weren't you a lawyer?
Oh, hell no.
A doctor?
I ran a hardware store.
A hardware store? I thought you was a professional man.
Well, now in Green Bend, they considered me one.
For selling hardware?
Well, I got the job temporary after college. I liked the couple that ran it, and they liked me. They were good to me. I fitted in.
The Huck I knew turned up his nose at fitting in.
And I told you my nose has changed. Living in a town under a new name, I was ready for a better luck. If I could just be a good person, good enough for long enough, I just might be able to
Earn your way upstairs.
Now, Tom.
I'm not knocking it.
All right, drop it. You know, I was always good at fixing things. Customers appreciated it. Once, for a woman who had arthritis in her hands and no strength for scrubbing, I rigged up 2 zinc washers in a tub and attached a hand crank and then added electricity.
A wash machine?
That's right.
You could have been a full-time inventor. Henry Finnegan, inventor. That sounds good.
Well, I considered it for about a half an hour. No, it wouldn't have been right. Principal Goodbody always said that I lacked certain capacity. Oh, I sure did like that store. Bins and barrels, crates and cartons, farm implements, tinware, everything in its place. The store was so deep you couldn't make out the end. Huge, dark, spacious as a cathedral.
Holy Huck hankered for heaven. I'm just teasing. But didn't you consider it beneath you being an educated man?
I was happy I had Cloud. Wish there was a word big enough for how happy I felt.
If there was, you'd know it.
She was always trying to fatten me up, keep me strong. She could make the best desserts you could imagine. She concocted this thing in time with graham cracker bottom and layers of thick whipped cream and crushed pineapple. Ooh, you had to keep it in the icebox till after supper, then cut a slice and put it back in fast.
So you wouldn't be tempted to eat the whole shebang, huh?
I told her it was a prize winner, and just for fun, one weekend she entered it into a confection contest down in St. Louis. She competed against a whole lot of good strudel. She won.
Can we go over there for a while?
Yeah, why not? It's ours.
Nah.
Huh? You okay?
If I'm not, I'll ignore it.
Yeah.
Is that yours?
Huh?
All right. Okay.
Oh, that sure is good whiskey.
Nice raunchy taste. Oh, this night.
Why don't you stay for a few days? Well, we could take a drive upriver, see the trees, the fall color. Stop at the lookouts all along the Mississippi. Silver poplar, white birch, oh, and sumac as crimson as sunsets used to be. What do you say?
Huck, do me a favor and take a big swallow of that whiskey.
I'm okay.
No, please. I want to tell you something that I started before.
No,
No,
I understand.
you're not going to like it. I got into a lot more trouble than I let on. I got picked up more than once. Tilly would have to come down to these crummy jails and bail me out. She pleaded, couldn't I please be released? You know, we had an audience that was wanting us to give them a show. She swore up and down it never happened before and begged the judge to reduce the charges to disorderly conduct instead of tampering with a minor. There came a time that I got hauled in and they kept me there. Not in the jail, but in an institution. Tilly left me. There was nobody there to pull me out. Theater manager booked in some half-assed juggler to fill my spot in the boarding house, put my trunk in storage. Pictures in the newspaper. Girl was 12 years old. I told her that I would read her fortune. So when I looked in the palm of her hand, I said all kinds of sweet things, and then I held her really close. It meant so much to me. Suddenly she screamed, and the crowd gathered, and the police came. Am I making you sick?
Go on, Tom. Finnegan's out back.
I was scared, and I was ashamed. I swear I never meant to mess with that kid. I just wanted to be Tom Sawyer, and to feel young and happy for just a little while. I should have known better. But when did I ever? In jail, other prisoners spit on me. One of them bloodied my face. In the middle of one night, a cell door came flying open and two pockmarked guards came in and took me down to this room with bright lights all over the ceiling. These guys in white coats came at me. Hey, what are you doing here? You got me mixed up with someone else. No, they don't listen to you. No, they strapped me down on the table. They stuck metal wires all over my body. I screamed. They stuck the gag down my throat. Those wires burned. Electricity just shot through all of my body. I wasn't even human anymore. I wanted to die and just be done with it. And then I don't know what. A week, a month later, I woke up. I was huddled in the corner of some cell. I didn't have any strength in me at all. Nothing. Before long, a jailer and a couple of guards came in and they picked me up and they took me down these corridors and out into a street I didn't recognize, and they let me go. Get the hell out of this town. Don't you ever come back here again. So I paid my boarding house bill, I got my trunk, and I went on to the next engagement, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. I was like an automatic man, just moving forward.
That's what we all have to do, Tom.
From then on, I focused on my work and nothing else. Absolutely nothing. That's the way it had to be. I don't mind telling you I was scared.
Scared enough to finally grow up?
You sound like they did.
They're like expect a pat on the head,
No,
do you,
I
Tom?
expect a little understanding, damn it. I control myself. I have for years.
Well, congratulations.
Oh, come on, Huck. You think it was easy? I don't have your built-in sense of right and wrong. That's why I had to find you. I needed your influence to save me.
You want something for me that I don't have. No man has, maybe God.
All right then, God, pray with me.
God
Huck.
doesn't listen to me.
If he listens to anybody, he listens to somebody like you. God, here we are. Both of us down on our knees begging for my decency. Come on, Huck, I need your help. Get down on your knees, please. Please, Huck. Here we are, God. I am an unworthy sinner.
No, I can't do it, Tom.
Please, Huck, I need
can't
you.
pray,
I need you.
Tom.
Please.
I can't do it! Cloud! I killed her. I killed my wife. She got sick. It was so sudden, so awful a thing we couldn't believe it. The doctor said that he would give her the treatment, the best available, but that there wasn't much chance. Cloud and I told each other that he had to be wrong. And then the pain began. You have to believe in pain. There's no way not to. It was in the autumn. Terrible time. Winter came and we moved her into the hospital. Sometimes I would sit there in the evenings with her and she would ask the nurse to bring her a pill. And then she'd go off to sleep. Pretty, peaceful. And then she'd cry out, "Please, God, please."
She wanted to die.
No. No, she didn't. No. That would be wrong. She studied my face and said, "Cheer up, Henry. Winter'll end soon and I'll feel better." Spring came, oh Lord. One day she asked me, "I want to go home, Henry." She said, I'll get well quicker there." Well, I fumbled around. I didn't know what to answer. She said, I'll see the yard through the window. I'll take care of myself. After all, I was a nurse. She sounded so hopeful. I helped her get dressed.
Right then, that night in the hospital?
We went out to the hall desk, and she told the night supervisor that it would be all right. He hesitated, but he let her go. We drove home laughing all the way as to what the doctor's face would look like when he heard. She improved for several days. The doctor would come, a neighbor woman would be with her most of the day, and in the evening I would give her her supper and her pills. We looked at each other with love and some hope, I guess. And then in her sleep she'd cry out, "Please, God, please."
She did want to die.
No, she didn't. Now, don't say that. I'd go out in the backyard to whittle. It got so I couldn't stand the fragrance of lilacs with her stuck in that medicine-smelling bedroom. One day, I put some clothes into a suitcase, took them out to the car, and drove to the edge of town.
Yeah.
I drove down a wooded road. I sat there for hours, trying to figure things out in my head. And then as the sun set, I went back to Cloud. And that night, in a warm glass of milk, I dissolved 2 pain pills she was supposed to have. And then 2 more. doctor came the next morning, went in to see her. He said, she must have got confused in the night. She wouldn't on purpose go against God's will. I told him, I gave her the pills. He said, no. No, Henry, you didn't. I went to the police. They wouldn't listen. Nobody would listen. I'd overhear them say, poor Henry, crazy with grief. Oh, they said it and they said it.
Hey,
I knew I was guilty. They had to know. Why did they pretend they couldn't? I had to get out. I sold the house and the business, and I left Greenbelt.
you came home.
No. My home was with Cloud. But when you break from civilization and the commandments, and they won't punish you or even listen to you. Started out for St. Louis. And I found myself barreling 60 miles an hour in the wrong direction.
Carter's Hill.
When I got here, I didn't recognize the place. This yard where trees used to be. This house that I never saw before with a for sale sign on the door. Good enough place as any to while away my time until the sheriff in Greenbend figures it out and they come and get me.
Huck.
You have to call me that.
Huck, there's no day.
There's gotta be.
No, there's no day, and they're not coming to get you.
Yes, they are. They're coming to get me. Don't you see? They're gonna punish me. Don't you understand? If I'm punished here on earth, then maybe, just maybe, they're coming for me, and I'm gonna have to hold them off with my shotgun so they know damn well and take me in.
And that's what you're waiting for.
They'll come. In the meantime, I keep busy out back and in the woods.
And that's your life. You whittle, you do puzzles, and you horripilate.
Remind me not to teach you any more words.
I gotta have another drink.
I owe you an apology, Tom. Instead of criticizing your life, you should be criticizing mine. I did the worst thing a man could do. I took a human life.
And that's what you tell yourself every day, don't you? It's a nice chant for when you're whittling. I'm a killer. I'm a killer.
Shut up.
I am disappointed in you.
Well, you shouldn't be. I was born rotten. You know, I trusted you. You used to understand me. It was you that I told about letting Jim go free when it was against all law and morality.
Suffering rutabagas. Huck, you're hopeless. The plain of it is that you freed a slave and you mercy killed your wife. God knows I'm a sinner. We're both going to hell.
You say it's so easy. Don't you care what happens to us at the end of our lives? Don't you hurt? No. I can see you don't. No need to. You got rid of your obsession. God was on your side.
God, you still don't get it, do you? I didn't overcome it. I still haven't. I control it. Even now, I see pretty face and think of Becky. But I didn't control it or stop it because of some religion or some reverence to a law or because my Aunt Polly taught me. I control it because I don't want to get locked up. I know the consequences.
Well, I thought about the consequences, too. A voice in my mind kept telling me, wait, think twice, consider the rules.
But you didn't.
I couldn't. I had to stop that pain. If I didn't kill her, I couldn't live with myself. No. I'm going to hell.
Well, don't look so torn apart. It ain't like you've lost your last friend. I mean, you won't be alone in hell.
That's right. I'll be there with you. The two of us in having an endless reunion in eternal damnation.
What makes you think hell would be so terrible?
I haven't talked with any authorities.
I mean, maybe it'll just be one long, hot August. You know, a long, long. And instead of a breeze blowing through, we'll sit in front of furnaces with blazing fires.
Good light to read by.
You would think of that.
You know, I think there'll be rafts on the rivers down there, and the forests and the prairies in hell will be just as green as on the day of creation, because everyone down there will be too lazy to cut them down.
Dogs will howl,
Oh,
and cats will
yeah.
climb trees and be as bodacious as ever, and the cities will be loud and boisterous, but that'll be fine with you and me, because there'll be music and laughing and drinking.
No, Tom.
What do you mean, no?
Oh, now there you go again. Tom Sawyer making up a fancy colored dream. Hell won't be like that.
Sounds good to me.
Well, that's just it. It sounds too good.
Oh, Huck.
Well, no, there is no way possible that eternal damnation can resemble a country club.
Why not?
Because in hell there's supposed to be suffering.
Suffering?
Suffering that fills every part of you, that owns you.
I don't understand you. You don't want hell, you want pain. I don't want any pain. How painless you think it's been for me for the last 15 years, seeing pretty girls and telling myself I don't see them. And Tilly still haunts me. I treated her shabby. Oh, no. I've lived with hell inside me. Don't tell me you haven't lived with hell.
Every day, I spend most of my life trying not to be Huck Finn, trying to be one of the good people. Oh, yeah, it was hell.
Well, if you've already been through it, then how bad can the other hell be?
You say the comforting thing, Tom. Yeah, I can see you at the fiery gates, dancing in your red satin suit and a hat with pointy ears.
Whoa, let's not be sacrilegious about hell, because, you know, we'll be citizens there, and we ought to show some respect.
Respect for hell? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if hell is where you go for freeing a man from slavery or pain, well, think of all who'll be there. People who wouldn't or for some reason couldn't go by the rules that bothered fellas who didn't want to fight in wars.
Women who wore their skirts too short, or their bodices too low.
Yeah, they'll be there.
Yeah.
People who played cards on the Sabbath.
Oh.
And those people who couldn't hold any recommended beliefs on earth. Chinese. Indians.
Probably be a lot of Jews and Catholics.
Oh, yeah, they'll be there.
Yeah, good people wouldn't want to let them in heaven.
I am going to hell with my lifelong friend, and I wouldn't want to go anywhere else.
I would not accept an engraved invitation to go to the other place.
I never had much of a voice anyway. The minister at the church in Green Bend, he pulled me aside and he'd say, "Please sing low." And I sure don't want to join that group that'll be dancing on the head of a pin.
Oh! Hey, are you sloshed?
Don't change the subject. You know, I think there'll be leisure in hell. A chance to sit in good company and talk things through. Get a perspective on what life was like.
You talk like it's in the past.
Yeah. And why did I spend so much time fighting my nature?
Damn, if the moon don't make you look like Huck Finn, the authentic one and only. You know what? Aunt Polly used to say, that boy's got the saddest face I've ever seen on a boy. Damnation written all over his face.
You better enjoy the moon. We may not have one in hell. Tom,
Huh?
that night supervisor at the hospital, you know, he frowned when Cloud told him we were leaving, but he didn't try to stop her.
He should have. It wasn't his place to be that way. He was a free soul.
Yeah,
That man is going to hell.
yeah. And if hell is good enough for him, it's good enough for me.
Well, you were a cinch from the very beginning. Except for that time that you turned into a regular snob wanting to go where the mama went.
You know, Tom, it's just possible Cloud could. She did want to die.
That was wicked. I suspected it. She's going to hell.
I'll see her again.
Yeah. We'll see a lot of our friends there.
Oh, I feel good.
Oh.
The best in a long time.
I feel
I
fine.
feel young again. I feel like dancing.
You do?
No, I never learned.
Oh, well, come on. It's easy. I'll teach you.
You really want to?
Yeah, I'll teach you.
Oh, where?
Oh, right there.
Oh,
Stand up if you can. We'll get some music on here.
no.
Too fast? Okay. Oh. Ah, here we go. That's it?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to show you. This is real easy, okay? Start with your right foot, okay? And you step, touch, step, touch, and back, and touch. No. You don't have to hold your breath. No, you relax. It's like living. It's no good until you're nice and loose. There you go. That's it. That's good. Okay, here we go. Step. Remember, right foot. And step and touch. And step and touch. And step and touch. And step. That's it. That's better. You're getting it. Yeah. Think light. Think easy. Yep. Think pleasant. Carefree.
Who the hell you say?
Oh, the hell you say. That's it. That's it. You know, you move like the moonlight.
Oh, you're lying like a blue jay.
Gray and Finnegan.
Oh, Finnegan and Gray.
Artistes extraordinaire. You look like a movie star.
I do?
Yep, Rin Tin Tin.
What beats Calvin Coolidge?
Oh, the smithereens. Come on, here we go.
Shouldn't I have a hat?
Oh, no sooner said than done. Here we go.
A skimmer.
What were you expecting, a halo?
Oh, and I got one you'll like.
Oh, you do, Mr. Finnegan.
Absolutely, Mr. Gray.
Make it an old hat, Mr. Finnegan.
The same, Mr. Gray.
What happened to the music? Well, I'll be blasted. Oh my God! I wish I didn't have to go tomorrow morning.
Well, don't go. If you don't want to.
I don't want to, but I got to do something.
Well, I have an idea.
Really? Well, I've had lots of ideas, but turning them into ready cash.
Let's take a trip. The two of us.
You mean it?
Oh, now don't ask dumb questions. Of course I do.
Where, Florida?
No.
California?
No.
Where then?
Brazil.
Brazil?
Would you like to go?
Would I like to go?
Oh, yeah, it's not a bad idea, huh?
No.
And winter's coming on, and the seasons are reversed down there.
Oh, you mean it'll be spring there?
Yeah, now you're catching on. Come on, let's go.
Oh, no, but we can't pay for our fares with vaudeville
Oh,
props.
no, we have enough.
You do.
I won't even answer that.
Oh, Huck, well, we were young.
Oh, now, Tom, you promised. In one of my bureau drawers, there's a piece of ruled notebook paper with your vow to go on
Oh,
it.
stop it.
We signed it in blood.
Stop it, Huck.
We had the map that I stole from the library. Don't you remember?
Well, of course I remember. I'm the one who drew up the diagram and put it in with the map and the coins in the first place. Don't tell me I don't remember. It'd be under here somewhere or gone.
Oh, Tom, I dug that box up years ago, and I found that map in there years before this house was built, and I studied that map, and then I thought, what's the use?
Oh, you threw it away?
No! I put it in a safe place.
Oh, you did!
I have been ready to go since the beginning. Why, we got a box of tools, and we have enough money.
You are the guy that got lost in the moon fields. Listen to you!
Oh, wait.
What?
We have to, you have to make a decision, Tom Sawyer. Well, we can hitch a ride on a barge from here down to New Orleans.
Yeah? All right.
Oh, I see the idea appeals to you.
Oh, unless you got a better one.
Oh. Well, how would you like to be the captain of the raft,
Huh?
Tom Sawyer?
Raft? Don't mean to tell. Well, I'll be a suffering monkey! Oh, I'm horripilate. All across my shoulders and down my arms. Next thing you're going to tell me is that we'll be able to fish for food on our way downriver.
Sure, we can stop along the banks and build bonfires.
Oh, just look at that. Over a mile wide.
And it goes on forever.